Thank you very much for this opportunity, Your Holiness. My question is more at a level of an individual policeman. And as you're aware, most policemen are very overworked. Not just policemen, this is valid almost for all security personnel. Under-resourced, they're disillusioned in many cases. In many instances, they are in poor health, poor diet, unable to look after their own family, caught between political pressures and outnumbered, and most importantly, usually unappreciated for all the efforts that they make. How do we expect such an individual to have compassion and empathy? Why wouldn't this individual, like any other human being, take out his or her frustration on any avenue that they can? And usually that avenue will be the poor and the people who really cannot, sort of respond back in force. How do we expect that human being to display empathy and compassion given the amount of stress, strain, pressure that they are operating under?
Now here, naturally, you see, thinking from a holistic way. For example, when I getting lesson from my teacher, you see, my teacher always keep one whip. That's, you see, so for temporary, for service, I get some fear. But then, you see, thinking for good purpose, so no problem. So similarly, now these police and any human community, some mischievous people always there. So you see, firstly, I always telling the education, we should emphasis on education system about non-violence and karuna. India's today's education mainly introduced by Britisher, as I mentioned earlier. So Indian education system should include moral principle, karuna, these things. That's one way. Then one way, you see, in spite, you see that some people a little bit naughty, so they won't listen, reason. So sometimes need little restriction or little sort of harsh method. So, so I think thinking the holistic way, and then Indian police, now, as I mentioned earlier, India's democracy, freedom, these really worthwhile to protect. So when some few mischievous people, you say, come, you see, you need little sort of harsh method for good purpose, as I mentioned earlier. Here is one, my own story. You see, when I was young, I'm quite sort of clever. Look, my teacher's face. So one teacher, since I know from my birthplace area, so he also part of one teacher. So sometimes I say,
to ride on his shoulder.
Oh,
I ride on his shoulder.
And I asked that my teacher, you should read. So later, you see, another teacher told me, see, this young boy, the young Lama, quite clever. So you should also to pretend more reserve. So my teacher, Chinaramache, once told me he find difficult the Dalai Lama, young boy, and very clever. And for that person, he sometimes find it difficult to remain
stern. To remain stern.
So like that. So therefore, the purpose is the key point. So all police, you see, of this country, you see, with principle, protect India's democracy, India's sort of culture, India's sort of also the nation. So in certain circumstances, a little sort of harsh method, that's okay with really also the principle. So no problem.